retired about 7 or 8 years ago. I had a very active consulting practice for some time, but I quickly started thinking about where can I really make a difference and what are the issues I really care about. And it led me to move away from predominantly paid work, consulting around sustainability policies and helping boards and companies to address those more effectively, to really a pretty narrow focus at the nexus of climate, next generation leadership, and adaptive leadership. And so adaptive leadership is an interesting framework. And the framework really begins by looking at leadership not as a position or as a title, but as an activity. Leadership as the activity of mobilizing people to do the work they really need to do. And it's based on the idea that there are some problems in the world that are primarily technical problems, where the solutions are either known or we can figure them out pretty easily with the right experts. But there are other kinds of problems that are more adaptive. They involve complex human systems that need to change, usually behavioral changes on the parts of lots of people. And for those problems, a different kind of leadership is required. It can't be really authority top-down. It has to be involving the people who really have the knowledge and getting them to actually come to even a common understanding of what the problem is before they begin to work. So climate would be a great example of this. Climate, you could look at it as a technical problem. We certainly know what the problem is, and we certainly know what most of the solutions are. But the complex issue, the adaptive issue, is getting people to do the work, and we all are very frustrated with that. So this model would say, we can't do that by having technical fixes. This is going to require behavioral change across a lot of systems. Timing and the challenge of meeting, particularly today, the pressing need to restructure so many systems to deal with climate. Any form of leadership is challenged. I fundamentally believe that climate change is a leadership challenge. And I would say climate change has to be looked at as a core issue for some, but there are other related issues. The issues of inequality and justice and the issues of governance are all related, because we can't address climate change without governance systems that change incentives and economic systems. And we can't have governance when inequality and injustice issues are threatening the ability of us to operate as a political unit. And we can't fix climate without picking winners and losers. And if we do that, climate mitigation and remediation could be something that either accelerates or reduces inequality and injustice. And so those systems I think of as a polycrisis. So yes, the challenge of how to do that within the time we have is really one that concerns, I think, those of us working in the field. There are people who are doing the work of climate who are caught sometimes very much in this nexus of despair and hope. They're doing hard work, but they have frustrations. They get stuck, and they've had something big they've wanted to do, and maybe it hasn't happened yet, or maybe it never will happen, they fear. So we've been doing pro bono consulting with people in that state. People like a climate minister for a major EU country, or the chief heat officer for a major US city, or someone trying to retrofit an old city's infrastructure for greater and responsible energy use. Well, often adaptive work requires someone to disrupt the system. So the exercise of leadership in a system is actually a risky act, because you're failing to meet the expectations that the system has that you'll go along with the way things have been going. And so to interrupt that always requires some disruption and some personal risk. And we asked them to present a case, and using a model developed by the Harvard Kennedy School, we undergo a consultation with them, try to help them see a broader perspective. In adaptive leadership, we call this getting on the balcony, not being on the dance floor where you're in the middle of everything, but getting upstairs, looking at all the systems, getting a view not only of the people you're working with, the entire system, and thereby seeing pathways to unstick systems and make progress. We've had some really exciting conversations, And we've started to see results with some of the people we've consulted with. So I think here would be my request to Class Act, as well as an offer of help to Class Act, which is for those people in our system, in our class or beyond, who are doing climate work, who might be in this kind of situation, let me know. And if you're appropriate for us to do a consultation, we're very interested in helping people who are trying to make change happen and are a bit frustrated with where they are right now.